That big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level. Second level gaming.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Couch Conversation with Level 2 Gaming. You got Keegan, you got Tom.
Hi.
Hanging out. And today we're talking about a topic of video games being art. I think this is kind of, as video game industry has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, this has kind of become less and less of a thing.
Yeah, less of a deal.
It's become more of turn out what seems to do really well repeatedly and rinse and repeat, which is good because it's fine-tuning some things. But we both played games recently that could be considered art versus a stereotypical video game. And I played Inside, you played Abzu. What's your thought when it comes to seeing gaming as an art form versus as a just, I guess, entertainment form?
I've always been on the side of video games as art because, I grew up with it, obviously. And there are definitely video games that are not art. There are video games that are the equivalent of the Avengers movies, or Transformers movies.
But you have to have those every so often.
Which is awesome, yeah. Like, we don't dislike that at all. But your popcorn games, if it were. And then you have those games that come out of the blue and they're trying to say something. I've played a lot of those types of games. Those of you that remember the early days of PS3 will remember a game called Linger in Shadows, which was basically it was so fucking weird. It was like a bad acid trip, but you were basically like the camera and you would follow this 6-minute video and try and find odd things in the video, and that was the game. So it was really was a complete kind of opposite game or anti-game almost. It was more so like what we would now consider, I guess, to be a walking simulator, of which I also consider to be in the games as art category. But what I played recently was Abzu, which is by the creators of Journey. And those of you that have played Journey will definitely argue for Journey as a game as art concept. Those games that do not hold your hand, do not necessarily have a HUD system, do not have a mini-map, do not tell you what to do not have tutorials. They just they throw you in the world and they say, this is our world, explore. And there's something beautiful about that. There's something about those style of games that is equivalent, to me anyway, to watching a 10-minute short movie that someone created, or
well, like No Man's Sky is a big one right now that we've been playing a little bit, and it has a tutorial, but it's kind of like, here's your world, go explore.
Yeah, and No Man's Sky is a kind of an awesome version of that, because No Man's Sky is so grandiose in scale, whereas a lot of these companies make these smaller titles. I remember playing Dear Esther on Mac for the first time, it's a walking simulator, but it was like essentially walking through a book. Like, you're reading through the narration of you, like, walking through the world, and you're learning and discovering things that you pick up along the way. There was no combat, there was no end goal, there was no, go from point A to B. It was literally just follow, and the story will create. Much like, I believe, the Rapture game. Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. That's similar style. Same company. The Chinese Room, I think. And I love that, and I think that video games do deserve a place in the artistic world to stand by them, certain ones. What about you?
So I'm very much I love games for entertainment, like having fun, having a blast, that kind of stuff. Like, I just more recently have kind of gotten into I guess it's indie, does it a lot more now, but a lot more of these artsy style games. I've never played Flower, I've never played Journey, don't really have any desire to, because to me, yes, they would be cool, and I've been told I need to, but at the same time, it just doesn't really draw to me. But then I played Inside, and
that hooked you pretty good, huh? Yeah.
Dude, that game, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a twist ending that just did not expect, and it was that weird thing of, like, art style, story, just most, like you're saying, these stories just basically going page by page, just beautifully crafted story that, yes, you're playing a video game and you're interacting with the world, but I felt more like choose your own adventure game, essentially. And Inside has that. There's multiple endings for Inside. Again, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's multiple endings for Inside, and both of them made me think kind of about life and what we're doing as a society, and what kind of, again, I don't want to say too much without give anything away, but basically I thought about life after playing that game, essentially, and it was
That's one of the major
Crazy.
differences, I think,
crazy.
is that when you finish an artistic game, you sit back for a minute
You know,
and you
whoa.
contemplate what you just went through. And it's like the first time you watch a movie, like, and I know people will argue about what good indie movies are or aren't, but like I'm just going to throw one out there, like Donnie Darko, okay? The first time you watch Donnie Darko, you're either going to sit there and go, what the fuck was that? Or you're going to sit there and go, wow. And you're going to like research a little bit, and you're going to go on message boards, and you're going to read about the time travel and all that kind of stuff, and you're going to get into it. And that's where cult classics come from. But these games as art, like things like Shadows of the Colossus.
Uncharted.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah.
Uncharted to a certain extent is an art because it's weird because I'm gonna think of it like music terms. So music, you have different movements that happen,
Right.
and it's essentially the same thing where you're like, okay, Uncharted, you have the action-packed movement. Here's the adventure movement. Here's the action-packed movement. Here's
Uncharted
the
to me is similar in nature to The Last of Us in the way, I mean, which is obvious because it's the same company, but like The Last of Us is one of those games I would throw up there and put it against any AAA movie that you have and say this is as important. This is equal on
a storytelling
on a narrative side of things, and also the fact that like all the acting is real acting, it's real voice acting, real mocap, and those actors are hired to do a job the same as any movie set. I think there's a difference though between the artistic games of that nature that are just like they qualify to be art on the same level as a movie qualifies to be art, but then those games that qualify to be art on the same way that a poem qualifies.
Yes, or even like hanging in a gallery. Like if you took a screenshot of Flower, you took a screenshot of Journey, you could potentially put that off as an art painting. Not a painting, but you know what I'm saying? Like it could hang in a gallery alongside something else.
Agreed.
I don't want to kind of build it up too much, but it's true. I mean, there's people that go in and handcraft these worlds. And even something like, what's the King's Quest? That was all hand painted. Like, that's crazy. Stuff like that. The little thing.
What's the other
like,
one? Cuphead?
Cuphead.
Yeah.
Looks just like an old 50s cartoon.
Incredible art style, incredible direction.
And I think it's interesting because I think we're getting more and more back to, at least, more games going back to being art. There for a while we lost color in video gaming. It was all just grayscale. All the Halos, all the Gears of War, all that kind of stuff, which isn't bad.
They have a place.
Yes.
Like those games have a place, but I think it's nice for those people that maybe want to experience something different. Another prime example I was just kind of popped into my head was that game. I never played it, but you wanted to play it. And I think you've seen it played. That Dragon Cancer.
Mm-hmm. That one.
Which is one of those games that was designed very much for a very particular reason and to elicit a very particular emotion from you, but is by no means what you would consider to put up against like a Halo in terms of a video game. So it has a purpose that makes you sit and think about it. And as I was saying with like Shadows of Colossus, like you go around the game of Shadows of Colossus and kill 16 gigantic monsters, but not once do you sit back and question why.
Yeah.
Are you the villain in that world? You're the one going around killing everything. They were just kind of hanging around, you know. So it's kind of the games that make you question things, and you find beauty in some way. Like if you can get that wrapped up in a video game, that you will buy artwork, you will read narrative stories around that thing. You know, it's I would put them up there. I would say that they absolutely have a seat at the table of artistic endeavor.
There's one, I can't remember the name of this game was, but I watched somebody on YouTube play it, and basically what it was a collection of mini games, I guess, from this dude. Like they weren't full. A lot of them weren't finished. They're just like rooms or whatever of ideas that he did, and it's kind of you could see the creative process as he went along. So he did one where you walk into a room, and inside this room there's a giant spiral staircase. Well, you can go up or down. If you go up, he has one theory on a thing. If you go down, you have a different theory on a thing, and just like. He did that intentionally. He would put notes at the end of it, like, if you chose down, you probably thought of this, or you like escapism. Like you probably tend to be more of somebody who wants to use video games as an escape.
So
versus
it was like a therapist analyzing you.
Essentially, is what it was. It was really weird. And I love like, even what's the name of the game where you're behind the scenes pulling levers of the video game?
It
came out recently.
Parable?
That's that one, and the same people who made it. They made another one where you're behind the scenes pulling stuff, and stuff like that is to me way more art because it makes you understand what is behind the game.
It's self-aware.
Yeah, and it's so cool seeing stuff like that. Not because art isn't just visual. Art is story. Art is gameplay. Art is how you intertwine all these together, and
how does it make you feel?
Yeah, I mean, art is based on emotion. So, I don't know. It's interesting. I think video games as art is a thing and it should always be a thing and we should never get rid of it. But I also think I'm a little bit different with you. But I think love the way more entertainment stuff than I do those. But I'm slowly getting more into it. Like I said, Inside kind of just went, and like, but Abzu, I have no desire to see it because I'm like, that looks real boring. But it looks pretty. Like I get the art side of it, but
we'll find out.
But it looks real boring, in my opinion.
We'll see.
So, but yeah.
Yeah. So I would love to know what you guys consider to be the best examples of video games as art. We've named a couple here, but is there any that we're missing? Is there any that you personally feel are artistic or that you saw in a different light than you do a traditional video game? And put those in the comments below so we can maybe look into them and even play them for the channel if we like them. So,
Barbie and her sisters.
Huh?
Barbie and her sisters.
Barbie and
the
her
most
sisters.
artistic game ever
Don't
made.
put Barbie.
Actually, Barbie Riding Club.
We are totally gonna play Barbie at some point.
I'm gonna make you play. I'm gonna make you play Barbie Riding Club because I played that growing up because of my sister. Thank you, Kelsey.
Okay.
But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Like Tom said, let us know down below what games you think are art and what kind of defines it for you. But thanks for watching, and as always, welcome to the second level. Bye. So the best way to get in touch with Level 2 Gamers is head over to Twitter and follow us at Level 2 Gamers. We're gonna sit here till you do that. Have you gone yet? Go. Come on, bro. No, just... I'll make it easier. Put a link here. Just go. Why are you still here? Go to Twitter. I don't think they're going to Twitter.